Welcome back to the Ghosty Girls podcast as Alicia is going through her plastic Ziploc bag of makeup.
I don't know what I mean. Where's my mascara? This is a nightmare.
I'm Christina.
Oh, I'm Alicia. Hello, nice to meet you. Welcome back, and or thank you for joining if it's your first time.
Yeah, I mean, every time we do this podcast, Alicia is doing her makeup out of a Ziploc bag.
Yep, that's how I
It's
roll.
not even a gallon Ziploc bag. That's like
It's a
2 gallon.
I got it
didn't
at
even
the restaurant.
It's a bag.
It's a bag.
It's a choice.
Listen, I love it. It has a tiny tear in it though, so I might be going over to my Bailey Sarian bag.
Yeah, again, I got her a really cute Bailey Sarian makeup bag.
I love it.
And it said for Christmas, and it says like on Mondays we talk murder and makeup or something.
On Mondays we talk murder.
That's what it is. Yeah, I misquoted the Queen. I apologize.
Unacceptable. I'm taking away your podcast card.
Speaking of podcast cards,
Oh no.
well, it's not really a segue, but I tried. We're gonna have hopefully really good, exciting news soon, and I can't wait to talk about it. But it's not finalized yet.
No, I'm gonna finish sending this email.
Yes.
Tell the people about something that happened to you. Oh, we got another funeral story too. So we only need like 2 more.
We need 2 more funeral stories, guys. So please send us your putting the fun in funeral stories. If you have any funny or crazy or weird funeral stories, we would love to have them because we are working on an episode called Putting the Fun in Funeral. But we need more content.
Yeah, they don't even have to be fun. They can just be a funeral story.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean, who doesn't love a good funeral story, you know?
Yeah.
I told my sister that at my funeral, I want, like, if I die young, I mean, hopefully I don't, but if I do, I told her that I want that Creed song played at my funeral. The one that goes, "Hold me now, I'm 6 feet from the edge and I'm thinking."
I thought you meant, look at this graph.
That's Nickelback.
Oh, whatever. Same thing.
You need to know your butt rock, okay?
No, I don't.
Yes,
No.
butt rock. Nickelback is butt rock. Creed is butt rock. That's a whole genre.
Right.
Butt rock.
Same thing. That's why they're in a genre.
Yeah, but listen, if you don't love butt rock, you can't get down with me, period.
I didn't say I didn't like it.
Yeah,
you know, choose to not know the names of the bands. That's all.
Well, put some respect on the butt rock genre and fucking learn.
Fuck your butt rock.
Fuck your butt rock.
Yeah. And as you're drinking your Starbucks, I'm going to tell you, if I die young, here's what I want done. Ready?
I almost spit my drink all over my laptop.
Please don't. One of several things. The first thing is take my body to Aruba and throw it to the sharks, or take my body somewhere where there's sharks and throw it to the sharks. Let them have a good meal. Right?
Your whole body, not just the cremated remains.
I don't know. Just the whole body. Just throw it in.
You're going to need to die in Aruba then, because to transport your corpse from the United States to Aruba on an airplane is going to be astronomically expensive. So...
Okay, here's the deal. Find sharks in or around the East Coast and just throw me to them. Let them have a good meal. Anyway.
That's going to be very violent, but okay.
I'm not going to feel it. I'm gone.
Yeah.
Or to the turtles. Snapping turtles. They need to eat alligators.
This took a turn.
Sorry. Is that depressing? I mean...
The thought of seeing your best friend be ripped apart by sharks and or turtles, it's a little depressing. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Well, I didn't tell you to visualize it. I'm just telling you
But
my
you know
final
how my
wishes.
brain works.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Anywho, so yeah, this is going to be part 2. This is going to be part 2 of Ian, Brady, and Myra Hindley. Last week, we left off with Pauline Reade and her mother getting her ready for the dance.
Who is Myra Hindley? I'm just kidding. She's got heat stains.
Bitch. You all should have saw my face because I was about to be like, the fuck do you mean is Myra Hindley? Okay. Your true crime enthusiast card would be completely revoked and put in a shredder if you didn't know who Myra Hindley was.
I didn't
okay?
until you started telling me. Don't look at me like that. I am the sci-fi portion of this.
Okay, so anywho, I'm more true crime.
I'm very into true crime and listening to it, but
Yeah, but I feel like I'm more... I mean, obviously, I like all true crime, but I feel like I'm more into old school true crime, and you're more into like the newer stuff.
Yeah.
It's a good balance. I'm an old school girly. You're a new school girly.
I
So.
am. The one I just did is a new squirrel.
New squirrel.
New squirrel. I'm done talking. Go ahead.
So, last week, we left off with Pauline Reade and her mother getting her ready for the dance and sending her off. Hours before that, Ian and Myra were meticulously planning out their attack. Ian counted all the buttons on all of their clothing because, remember, that was part of their list. They had the master list.
Mm-hmm.
And also on the master list was cutting up and burning their clothing and shoes after the murder so that any DNA or fibers were not traced back to them. And I hate to say this, but I'm going to give them a little bit of credit because as serial killers, that's really fucking smart, especially for this occurring back in the 60s.
Don't give them credit. Fuck them.
But I mean, like, you have serial killers that like didn't take any of that stuff into consideration, and Myra and Ian were counting buttons on their clothing.
That's fair.
That's like very, what's the word that I want to use? That's very advanced for the time. You know what I mean?
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah, they definitely thought of it.
They really did. So, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm going to give them credit, but I will say that as serial killers, they were pretty damn intelligent. They even went to the moors beforehand so they could scope out the scene, and they also rehearsed how they would commit this murder.
What?
Yeah. They rehearsed it. They did like a dry run. They decided where it was going to be. I mean, They did it. They did the damn thing.
They did a dry run?
They did a dry run. Yep.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Ian did his best to establish an alibi with his mom and also with Patrick Brady, her husband, making sure to make a comment about the time so that they remembered. Again, that's also really fucking smart.
Yeah, that's advanced. Right.
But for as smart as that is, it's also kind of irrelevant because Ian left the house right after making a production of what time it was. So, like, they would know that he wasn't in the home around the time of their victim's disappearance.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. They tried. So, Myra gets in the black Ford, which was borrowed from a family friend. And apparently, this family friend was the father of a child that she would babysit. Because remember, Myra used to babysit back in the days before Ian when she liked kids.
God, no one's ever babysitting my child.
No, seriously, though.
Yeah. It's terrifying.
I mean, that's a valid point. Be careful about who's around your kids. So, she borrows this black Ford, and Ian drives behind her on his motorbike. So they originally saw an 8-year-old girl that Anne wanted to pick up, but as Myra slowed down, she realized that she actually knew the little girl.
Oh.
Yeah. Her name was Marie Ruck, and she actually lived a couple of houses down from Myra. And one of their rules was that they didn't take anyone that they knew because that was too dangerous. You know, They wanted to pick somebody random so it couldn't be tied back to them. So that little 8-year-old girl just narrowly avoided being kidnapped and murdered by Ian and Myra that night.
God, can you imagine?
Very
finding
lucky.
That out when you're like a teenager or...
And she actually did interviews about it. She was so fucking lucky because both Ian and Myra admitted to, like, they were going to kidnap and murder her. She was that close. They kept driving around and they eventually spotted Pauline Reade, who was walking to the dance. She's walking in her gold and pink party dress. She's walking alone. And they decided that was the one. That was their victim. Ironically, Myra did, in fact, also know this girl. Yeah. But in her words, she knew that there would be, quote, less fuss if a teenager went missing as opposed to a 7 or 8-year-old girl. I guess Anne didn't know that Myra, quote unquote, knew her until afterwards.
Shit.
Yeah. But in Myra's brain, she was like, it's a teenager. They're probably going to think she's a runaway, whatever. But a 7 or 8-year-old girl, that's going to certainly bring a lot more heat on them.
That's also forward thinking.
It is.
Damn it.
And this was Myra.
Mm-hmm.
So again, she claims that she's the battered woman, but she had enough forethought to anticipate all that. So, I mean, that's scary. So Myra slows down. She approaches Pauline and she asks her where she's going all dressed up. Pauline tells her that she's headed to the dance. Myra offers her a ride so that she didn't have to walk alone at night, and Pauline gets into the car. Now, keep in mind, Pauline knew Myra, so she didn't feel threatened by her. Myra was an older chick from the neighborhood. So you got to put yourself in Pauline's shoes. Like, I mean, who wouldn't take a ride? Like, this girl. She lives in your neighborhood. You think she's trying to be nice. Like, she's like, oh, don't walk by yourself at night. I'll drive you.
Yeah, I got you, girl.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, fuck Myra. Like, oh, God, pisses me off. Pauline, she didn't know that Ian was in cahoots with Myra and following her around. She didn't know that. So once Pauline gets in the car, Myra tells her that she's really upset because she lost one of her gloves at the moors. And she asks Pauline if she wouldn't mind helping her and her boyfriend look for the glove before she drops her off at the dance.
They didn't even use a puppy.
No. A glove.
A glove.
But, I mean, gloves were a thing back then, so...
Oh, yeah, because they had party gloves.
They were her expensive party gloves, and she was like... Pauline probably thought, like, as she's having girl talk, she's like, oh, damn, like, I lost my glove. Like, and Pauline was probably like, I'll help you look for it, because Pauline was a sweet girl.
Bless her heart. And
she also trusted Myra. Myra also tells Pauline that if she finds the glove, she will give her a record as a reward. Like, so she was like, oh, if you help me find this, like, I'll give you one of my records. Like,
yeah.
So Pauline agrees to help, and they make the drive up to the moors. Myra told Pauline that her boyfriend would meet them there to help. So Pauline had no idea that Ian was actually following behind them on his motorbike. So they finally get to the moors. Ian shows up, and they all get out of the car to go to the spot where Myra supposedly lost her expensive glove. Ian acts like he's looking on the ground for it, and while Pauline is distracted by walking around looking for the glove, Ian comes up behind her to restrain her. Pauline desperately looked to Myra for help because, remember, she trusted Myra.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't even imagine, like, this guy, like, coming up behind you, restraining you, and then you looking to another female for help.
Yeah.
And then instead of Myra helping, she yells at her to keep quiet.
I can't.
I know. Ian gets Pauline down on the ground. Then Myra, by herself, undresses Pauline, and then the two together begin to rape her. Both Ian and Myra raped Pauline. Both of them.
Yeah, but Myra's innocent, right?
Correct. Yeah. In her eyes. So Myra wasn't just standing around like a delicate little flower. She was partaking in the attack and in the rape. Now, it's important to note that Myra's story differed depending on who she was talking to. And of course, Myra denies that she was involved in the rape and murder of Pauline Reade. She claims that she merely drove Pauline there and then Ian walked Pauline out to the moors. And it wasn't until later when she went to go back to check on them that she saw that Pauline had been raped and her throat slashed.
Ugh.
So, again, it's very Karla Homolka-esque. Like,
just a little.
Yeah, like, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I helped because I had to, because he made me. When? And this is also, remember, in prison, when Karla Homolka was in prison, she became obsessed with Ian Brady and Myra Hindley, specifically Myra Hindley and the Moors murders. She would read books about it. So I think that she saw a kindred spirit in Myra Hindley.
It sounds
they're
like
both pieces of shit.
Both playing the victim card.
Yeah. So Myra's a known fucking liar. She's known to lie. And I mean, Ian lies too, but I don't believe that Myra just sat there and didn't partake in anything. I refuse to believe that. They planned it out. Okay. When Pauline's body was eventually discovered much later, It was determined that Pauline had been stabbed multiple times in the neck, with one of the wounds being so deep that it actually severed her spinal cord. So she was nearly decapitated. She was also severely beaten in the face and head, which coincided more with Ian's description of the event. But again, both of them are liars, so we'll never really know the true story. I mean, me personally, I think both of them, they did it equally.
I'm sure they both took part in that.
Yep, they both raped her, they both killed her. The end.
I just pray that she didn't, like, it's so weird, like, to say, I hope she didn't have that much pain. Like, I hope they took her quick. It doesn't sound like it, but
no, it was a violent, gruesome, awful death.
Damn it.
The only thing that, like, when I think of things like this and I think of, like, how bad the pain was for that person, I try to rationalize it in my head, like, at least they're at peace now.
Yeah. And
at least they're not feeling any pain now.
Sometimes the brain puts out that chemical that, like, makes your body go numb.
Yeah, it does.
That stress chemical, I forget what it's called.
Is it adrenaline?
No.
But yeah, and sometimes people black out in situations like that.
Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. Like, I hope that happened. And
I hope so. After Pauline was dead, Ian dug a hole, and he and Myra dumped her body in the grave. She was still wearing her golden pink party dress.
Aww.
They then counted the amount of steps it took them to get back to the car so that they knew exactly where the spot was so they could come back and visit, which they did very often, even going as far as taking pictures of themselves right by her grave multiple times. They then loaded up Ian's motorbike into the van, and as they were driving home, they saw Pauline's mother and brother out walking the streets looking for her, which is so completely fucked.
That breaks my heart even more.
Yeah, can you imagine walking the streets looking for your child and you see a car drive by and you don't know it, but they're the ones that fucking killed your daughter?
No. I don't even want to think about it.
It's chilling. Pauline's mother, Joan, ended up going to the place where the dance was held, but at that point, everyone was gone and the dance was over. By 1 a.m., after still no sign of Pauline anywhere, Pauline's mother contacted the police. Because they first, like, went to go, like, they walked the streets thinking that, like, maybe she was on her way home.
Yeah.
They couldn't find her anywhere. They called the police. And while all of this was going on, Ian and Myra were following their master list to a T. They were cutting up and burning all of the clothing. They burned the knife that they used. And then they opened up a nice bottle of whiskey and they celebrated how they had committed the perfect murder. Myra later said that her and Ian's best and most intense sexual encounters were the ones that occurred immediately after the murders they had committed, saying that they were, quote, further bonded by the blood of our victims.
Myra said that?
Yes. And I just want to take a moment to highlight the fact that this is not a normal reaction that someone should have after witnessing a murder, okay?
Especially if they are a victim.
Yeah, exactly.
And didn't want to take part in it.
Exactly. Yep. Like, you're saying that you saw your boyfriend viciously rape, beat, and murder a child. Like, I'm sorry, but a 16-year-old is a child.
Agreed.
Okay. And then just a couple of hours later, you're spreading your legs for him and having the best sex of your life.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And you want to sit there and tell us you had nothing to do with anything and that you were just manipulated by him and he forced you to do these things and blah, blah, blah. No, I don't believe it for a fucking second.
Fuck you, Myra.
Yeah, fuck right off. The next day, Ian and Myra scooped up the ashes of all the burnt clothing and also everything used in the murder, and they disposed of it. They then meticulously cleaned both the van and the motorbike. They then took money that they had taken from Pauline and they went to buy candy and cigarettes, and then they went to go see a movie. So they're just out living their best life with money that they stole from Pauline.
From a 16-year-old.
From a 16-year-old. A little detail that I found funny, I don't know if I should say funny, ironic, whatever, was that the man who let Myra use his van actually ended up gifting the van to her. And after fixing it up with Ian and making sure that no forensic evidence was left behind from the murder of Pauline Reade, Myra actually sold it to a police officer.
Ain't that some shit?
Right? And this is really fucking wild. After she sold the van to this police officer and they exchanged money over drinks at the pub, she took this police officer back home to her grand's house and had sex with him.
She just made sure that he really wanted that car.
I guess. I don't know. It's random as fuck. Yeah. But, I mean, I guess the girl had to get her rocks off somehow because Ian was disappearing more and more on her. Yeah.
Okay.
So he was just out doing whatever he wanted. She says that she would just be like sitting at home waiting for him to come home. I don't know. Making matters worse was the fact that this police officer was fucking married.
Gross.
And also, and you guys are going to die when I tell you this. The police officer liked Myra so much that he actually tried to recruit her and had her go down to the police station for an interview to become a fucking police officer.
I mean, if she was really smart, she would have done it.
Well, Ian thought it was hilarious.
I mean, that...
And it kind of is. It's like, I mean, yeah, in a fucked up way. It's...
Man.
Yeah.
Can you... I know I say this 1,000 times per episode, but can you imagine?
No, that would have brought this case up to a whole new level if she would have become a police officer.
Also, I'm going to say something that you said last week. What were the standards back then in that town?
There weren't any. The limit does not exist.
Jesus, I can't.
But yeah, spoiler alert, Myra never actually became a police officer. Thank God, but...
I can't.
So after that, Myra then actually began dating the police officer that she sold the van to.
The married police
officer. Okay. And she would go on dates with him at night while Ian would frequent the homosexual bars in Manchester. I have no idea why any of this went on. I don't. I'm just reporting the juicy deets for y'all because when I was researching this and I read this part, I was just like, I kind of like throw up my hands like, come on. The fuck? You can't make these stories up if you tried. And this is honestly why I love true crime so much as opposed to fiction. Because true stories are so much crazier than anything you could ever make up.
Yeah, you're right. Like, so she was probably just his cover up. But they now, because...
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
So it's reported that Ian knew about her having this side relationship with this police officer, and he thought it was really funny, and he actually kind of encouraged it because he was like, this is going to take the heat off of us, so go ahead, girl.
Yeah. Go ahead and S that D.
Yeah,
I mean, off our trail.
Seriously, like, I don't... Go ahead and shove candles up his ass, too. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't... Maybe that's why she did it. I don't know. Who knows? I'm not even about to try to attempt to understand these two fuckers. It's beyond my comprehension. Yeah. Myra and Ian continued to be in a relationship or relationship, whatever you would like to call it.
I like relationship.
Relationship. And they spent a lot of time going back to the moors, to that very spot where they buried Pauline Reade. And again, they would take pictures of themselves posing by her grave, and they would reminisce about how they had gotten away with the perfect murder. This is actually pretty common with serial killers. They'll go back and visit the burial sites. Ted Bundy did this. There were some other serial killers that did that.
Didn't Pinnell do that too?
I don't know if Stephen Pinnell did that. I don't think so. Serial killers tend to do that when they actually bury the bodies.
Gotcha.
They'll go visit the burial spot of the body.
Got it.
Yeah. Because it gives them like sick pleasure. Like there's a dead body right here and I did it and no one fucking knows. It's sick.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, they got joy out of hanging out where the body of their victim was lying buried in the ground. But this, of course, did not sustain them for long, and they were itching to murder again.
Of course they were.
Yep. So the two decided that it was time to choose a second victim, which they planned out and they actually scheduled. And in November of 1963, the two spotted a 7-year-old boy named Tommy Radigan, who was swinging on a swing set at a nearby park. Myra was able to lure him back to her grand's house with the promise of bread and jam, which is so British. Bread and jam.
Bread and jam.
And Tommy went back to the house with them, but he was soon very creeped out by how both Ian and Myra were behaving. Like, apparently they were acting real sketchy. Like, they were like standing in another room, like kind of whispering. I think they were kind of planning out their next move.
Watching him eat.
I
can just imagine him like slowly putting the toast in his mouth, side-eyeing him.
And he caught on. It creeped him out. And he was actually able to escape out of a window.
Oh.
So very, very close call for Tommy Radigan.
Wow.
Very close call. Now, one would think that this very close call would scare Ian and Myra and make them chill the fuck out on their murder plans. But nay. This only made them more determined to get the next one right. So on November 22nd, 1963, Myra, who had finally obtained her driver's license on the 4th try, took her 4 tries to get her fucking driver's license.
How are they dumb with that but smart with murder?
I don't know. So she picks up a rental car and the two are ready to go about with their plan. Myra, driving the rental car and wearing a black wig to disguise her shitty peroxide blonde hair, she picks Ian up and they go to the hardware store to pick up some supplies. They come up with their alibis and then they drive around looking for victim number 2.
Oh.
So again, they really planned this out.
I hate
this
that.
wasn't a spur of the moment thing. They ended up going to Ashton Market, where Ian spotted 12-year-old John Kilbride sitting and eating a biscuit. So
I love biscuits.
I know, it's just so like this little kid sitting there eating a biscuit and minding his own business, and I hate these people.
Where they are, a biscuit is a cookie.
Yes.
So he was eating a cookie.
He was eating a cookie.
God bless him.
So Ian signals to Myra that he wants that boy, and Myra approaches little John Kilbride and asks him if he would help her carry some boxes to her car, and in return, she would give him a ride home. So yeah, this was a classic move of preying on people for help and then taking advantage of their kindness. This happened with Paul and Carla. It happened with my man Ted Bundy. It's a common move. And John Kilbride, being a young, innocent, helpful child, he was sucked right in by this woman who appeared completely harmless, asking for help. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm going to take a little moment to interject kind of a funny story. I mean, I don't know if it's funny, but it kind of ties in. But there was one night when I was in college. I was in my early 20s. And this was before COVID, obviously. And remember when Walmart...
Wait, aren't you 20 now? Shh. Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. But do you remember when Walmart actually used to be open 24 hours?
Yes.
I would do late night Walmart runs by myself, like
Same.
to decompress. It was so much fun, and I would buy random shit. It was so nice.
Mm-hmm.
So it was probably around 1 a.m. I'm going out to my car, and this guy approaches me, and he's like, "Hey, my car broke down. Do you have any jumper cables? Do you think you could help?" And I was like, "No, I can't." And he was like, "Come on, I'm a nice guy." And I said, "Ted Bundy was a nice guy too."
Did you say that to him?
Yes.
Yes.
And I got in my car and I drove away.
Good for you.
I told that story just to oh my God, please be careful, guys. Especially you young girls that are listening, because I know there's some young girls listening.
Mm-hmm.
I probably shouldn't have been out at the Walmarts in my early 20s at 1 a.m.
Yeah,
probably not the best decision. But if you're by yourself, and some guy especially, even a female, I mean, you just never know. Look at Myra Hindley. But anyway, if somebody approaches you asking for help, I hate to say it, but no, don't. Get on your cell phone and call for help.
Yep.
But don't offer to help yourself, okay? Just
No.
don't. It's too fucking dangerous. Your life means too much.
Agreed.
Yeah, just be careful.
Mm-hmm.
So once Myra gets John into the car, she picks up Ian, and then they use that lost glove story again. It's just like, get a new Stitch, okay? Is that
Listen.
Stitch?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Spiel.
Yeah, just...
I hate them.
I know.
said that, I know.
So John agrees to help them find the lost glove, and they take him to, you guessed it, the moors.
Oh.
Yeah. Once out of the car, Myra takes off, leaving John completely alone with Ian. And John, at this point, was starting to figure out that something was up, and he became terrified.
Aww.
So, yeah, this was a little different. Unlike Pauline Reade, Myra apparently was not present for the murder of John Kilbride.
Or so she says.
Yeah, well, I think Ian said that too. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Who fucking knows? They both lie. So it's like, it was hard for me researching this because I'm like typing up the story and I'm like,
what is real?
Every source says something different because especially Myra, she would tell different people different things.
Yeah.
So again, like, I'm sorry if people are listening to this and they're like, that didn't happen, but it's hard to get some of these facts straight. Because they're from Ian and Myra, and both of them are fucking liars.
Well, I think you're doing a great job.
Thanks.
It all sounds like facts to me.
Oh, yeah. Fun facts. Not so fun facts.
Not so fun facts.
Not so fun facts.
I liked yours better.
I do everything to the Hot Pocket theme. Hot Pocket.
Chili saucy.
Yeah, everything works with the Hot Pocket theme song.
It
okay?
does.
Fight me about it.
The jingle. Sorry. Okay, let's go. I'm so sorry. I digress again.
So, while Myra was waiting, Ian grabbed John from behind, and after a struggle ensued, he strangled John to death, and then Ian raped the corpse of the little boy. So now we have necrophilia going on.
Oh, God.
Yeah, as if it couldn't get any fucking worse. After half an hour passes, Myra returns. She sees John Kilbride lying there dead. They dig a grave, and they bury him together. They then do their whole ritual of burning the clothes they wore, cleaning the car, getting drunk, and then having sex because they're despicable human beings. Over the next few weeks, they repeatedly returned to the moors to make sure that the graves of Pauline Reade and John Kilbride had not been disturbed. Again, taking a ton of pictures of themselves, posing, and looking at the ground where the bodies were buried. It was like a sick ritual that they would get off on.
Hate them.
Yep. So after the murder of John Kilbride, as many serial killers do, the couple went on a bit of a cooling off period. But by the summer of 1964, Ian was ready to claim the life of victim number 3. And this was 12-year-old Keith Bennett. They again used the same exact story about how Myra had lost her dumb fucking glove at the moors, and Keith, being the sweet, helpful child that he was, agreed to go with them to help them find it. Myra later stated, quote, "He went like a lamb to the slaughter." Yeah, she actually said that.
But she's
a battered woman, okay? Yeah. Leave her alone.
Sorry.
Now, the actual events surrounding the murder of Keith Bennett differ depending on if you believe Ian or if you believe Myra, but this seems to be the general consensus of what happened. They both walk Keith up to the moors to go look for the glove. They then overtake him, and Ian sexually assaulted the boy while Myra held him down for Ian. Ian later said that he strangled Keith to death with his bare hands, which was an ordeal that was over in just a matter of minutes. It's rumored that Ian and Myra took pictures of Keith's battered and lifeless body to keep with their collection, but that they ultimately destroyed the pictures later. Oddly enough, before her death in prison, Myra actually reached out to the brother of Keith Bennett, and the two of them struck up somewhat of like a pen pal friendship. In a letter to Myra, Keith's brother Alan wrote, quote, "I do not seek revenge for Keith. My only wish is to have him found and properly laid to rest." Unfortunately, Myra never disclosed the location of Keith's body, and to this day, his body has never been found.
It's at the moors?
They don't know where it is. But yeah, I find it so weird that to this day, but like his body's never been recovered.
No.
So fucking crazy.
That's sad.
Now, in between these 3 murders, I just want to take a minute to note that Ian and Myra, at this point, essentially began grooming her sister Maureen's new husband. Remember how Myra and her sister Maureen were best friends?
Yes.
Well, Maureen ended up getting pregnant at the age of 16 and married the father of her unborn baby, David Smith. Now, David didn't exactly have the best reputation around town. I mean, he was an 18-year-old man who got a 16-year-old girl pregnant. Yeah. That in and of itself is questionable.
Gross.
Yeah. And most importantly, he was very violent. And like Ian Brady, he also had a criminal history, which he bonded with Ian over.
Okay.
Yeah. So Ian and Myra, being the opportunists that they are, they saw David as somewhat of a muse. Mm-hmm. And Ian began to slowly indoctrinate David into his shady lifestyle.
Gross.
And David really looked up to Ian. He thought he was real fucking cool. I'm telling you this to just keep that in the back of your mind because this will be important for later, because this is essentially what will be the downfall of Ian Brady and Myra Hindley.
Good.
But we'll get into that later. So the summer and fall of 1964 came and went, and by December, Ian and Myra were ready to do it again. But this time, Ian wanted a little girl. And allegedly, the reasoning behind this was for pictures. Because Ian said that pictures of a little girl would be easier to sell.
What?
Now, whom he was selling these types of photos to is unclear, but that's what I read in my main source for this series, which is The Moors Murders, The Full Story of Ian Brady and Myra Hindley by C.G.C. Cook.
Okay.
Doesn't say like who he was I don't know if there was like an underground ring or something.
Well, there had to be.
Yeah, or if he was just talking about selling the photos but never did. I don't fucking know, but that's creepy.
It's creepy.
Gross. Yeah. So I'm going to add a disclaimer in here. This next one is real fucked up. It's awful, it's vile, and you have been warned. This is a rough one.
Should I leave?
Yes.
Okay.
Get out.
Bye.
So Ian and Myra decide they're going to target a little girl, and they decided to go to a fair that was being held the day after Christmas, December 26, 1964. So they spot 10-year-old Lesley Anne Downing. And if you remember the name Lesley Anne Downing, that was the name that Luca Magnotta used as one of his YouTube accounts. Yeah, so this all ties in.
That's so weird.
It's very weird. It's very weird. And that's why I wanted to do Ian and Myra, because Paul and Carla, Luca Magnotta, it all adds, it all ties in. So Lesley was at the fair. She was by herself. Ian and Myra concocted a story about needing help with carrying shopping bags to the car. So again,
from the fair.
Yes. Yeah. They were able to get her into the car and back to Myra's grand's house. After they get her into the house, they undressed her, they gagged her, and they forced her to perform sex acts while Ian took photos. The worst part of this is that there's an actual audio recording of the torture and murder of Lesley Anne Downing.
No.
This little girl was 10 years old. This audio was played in court during the trials, so everyone had to listen to it. I read the transcripts, so you don't have to. I'm not going to repeat the transcript verbatim.
Thank you.
It's online if you want to read it, but once you read it, you cannot unread it. It's really fucking rough. I'm glad that there is no actual audio of it online, but I mean, again, the transcript it's bad enough. And it's safe to say that this audio recording was the nail in the coffin for Myra Hindley. Because later on, as I've said before, Myra tries to use the whole battered woman syndrome thing. But like Karla Homolka, she didn't expect for any evidence to ever be found that really put her involvement in the spotlight. And this audio recording that they took of the torture and the murder, it did just that. If there were any doubts as to if Myra was a willing participant or not, all you need to do is read the transcripts and you have your answer. Okay. So first off, remember it's December 26th, so it's the day after Christmas. Right. So in the audio recording, the little drummer boy was playing in the background, which is completely fucked. It's just...
Well, yeah, because that ruins Christmas again.
Yep. That was the last song that this little girl ever heard. She was tortured to a Christmas song, which is very Paul Bernardo-esque because if you remember, he used to force his victims to say things like Merry Christmas repeatedly in order to ruin things. I mean, yeah. So in the audio, Myra is heard repeatedly coaching Lesley. She coaches her on performing sexual acts. She repeatedly tells her to shut up. And at one point, Myra tells this little girl that if she doesn't shut up, she's going to hit her.
What a bitch.
This is all uncoached, okay? It's not like Ian was in the background being like, you need to shut this kid up. Like, Myra took the lead on this.
It sounds like it.
Mm-hmm. Lesley, who again is just 10 years old. She's 3 years older than my daughter. She's heard on the tape repeatedly screaming, making gurgling noises, begging for them to let her go, and repeatedly crying out for her mummy.
Oh, I can't. You don't start because you're going to make me start.
And that, oh God, that detail fucking kills me because it's reported in so many murders, even murders of full-grown adults, that the victim's last words are calling out for their mom.
Ugh. God, I hope her mom didn't have to hear it.
She did. It was played in trial.
Oh, God.
So she had to listen to her little girl calling out for her while she was being tortured and murdered. So I'm adding all this in, as disgusting as it is, because I just want everyone to know how awful Ian Brady and Myra Hindley are. Remember them for what they are. Remember Myra for what she was. She was a fucking monster. She was a child rapist. She was a murderer. She is the worst of the worst. She's right up there with Ian, okay? She wasn't a battered woman. So Myra has always denied murdering Lesley, saying that she was actually upstairs drawing a bath for the little girl, and she came downstairs to discover Lesley's dead body, which again is very much like Karla Homolka. Just like my opinion on Karla Homolka, I don't believe Myra for one fucking second. I mean, she tried to say that she was just an innocent bystander who was forced to help and that she was an abused woman. But in the words of my man, Maury Povich, the tape determined that was a lie.
Boom.
So I think that I've successfully traumatized everyone enough for today. So I'm going to end part 2 here. And we're going to pick up next week with the 5th and final murder, which ultimately was the downfall of Ian Brady and Myra Hindley, as well as the trial, their lives in prison, and the aftermath of the Moores murders. And next week will be the final episode in the series, okay? I'm not going to put you guys through anymore. I'm not going to put myself through anymore. Because just reading that transcript was fucking rough. Like, I mean, I'm so glad that the audio isn't out there floating around.
I don't think I would have read all the way. Like, I would have got to a point and I would have been like, no. Yeah. All I'm going to say is it's terrible. If you want to look it up, look it up. Like,
yeah, I read the whole thing.
God bless you.
I don't know why I do that to myself, but...
Well, because you're interested and you're trying to give full details, so...
Yeah, I feel like a lot of podcasts and documentaries, they shy away from a lot of details, but I want to give those details because I don't know. I feel like, and maybe this is like a hot take, but I feel like if my daughter went through that, I want everyone to be uncomfortable. I want everyone to know what she went through. I want her story to be told so that this doesn't happen again. Right. So that people see warning signs, so that they see something and say something, so that women especially are not sucked into shit like this. Because as I said in the last episode, Myra's responsible for her actions, but he did have a pull on her.
Yeah,
he did. I
I'm
mean,
sure.
that there's no doubt about that. I think there are some people that I'm not really sure if they would have committed acts like this alone, but when you meet the quote unquote right person,
the wrong.
it's just like fire and gasoline, you know? Do I think that Myra would have done this on her own? Honestly, probably not.
Yeah.
I don't think she would have. I think that she needed a catalyst like Ian to really bring that deprived part of her psyche out. But also, when she met him, she made a choice. He told her.
Yep.
He told her that he wanted to do these things to children.
Yep. And she thought it was hot.
She thought it was cool. Like Carla Homolka. If you're a woman and a man says that to you, walk the fuck away.
And maybe call the cops.
Yes. So these stories, like, I want to tell all the details because I feel like it's important for people to know. And maybe there's a girl out there that is impressionable who might hear something like this.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, might use it to her advantage in the future. Like, if a man does try to manipulate her, be like, no, you know what? No. I have a choice.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress.
It's not digression.
You're digression. And with that, I'll wrap it up. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sticking with us during this shit. It's rough.
I'm going to give you guys 2 dad jokes on this one because you deserve them.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, actually, I got 3. These are funny.
Oh,
no, there's so
man.
many good ones on here. But I lost the first one I wanted to tell you. So I'm just going to go with this one. Why don't seagulls fly over the bay?
Because they see... I don't know.
Because then they'd be bagels.
Oh, my God.
What's the best kind of bird to work for a construction company?
I'm trying to think of birds.
It's a crane.
Oh, damn it. I feel like I should have gotten that. Why am I so bad with jokes?
You're not. I have one more. I'm so sorry. What do you call a snake that loves building houses? A boa constrictor.
A bubba?
Boa. A boa constrictor.
Oh, because constructor. Oh, no, I'm dumb. I didn't get it.
No, you're not.
I get it now. You had to explain it. I'm blonde, okay? I'm dark blonde, but I'm still blonde. All right.
Whoever stole my depression medication, I hope you're happy now.
Oh, my God.
Okay, on that one, I'm done.
I'm done.
See you next Tuesday.
But don't be one. Bye.
Love you, bye.